So the biggest knockout punch of last night's debate came when Kamala Harris just eviscerated Biden on his work with segregationists. Biden worked with them fighting against desegregated school busing. That's going to be a tough one to wiggle out of. Let's see how this unfolded.
So on the issue of race, I couldn't agree more that this is an issue that is still not being talked about truthfully and honestly. There is not a black man I know, be he a relative, a friend, or a coworker, who has not been the subject of some form of profiling or discrimination. Growing up, my sister and I had to deal with the neighbor who told us her parents couldn't play with us because we were black. And I will say also that in this campaign, we have also heard, and I'm going to now direct this at Vice President Biden, I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. Mm-hmm. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me. So I will tell you that on this subject, it cannot be an intellectual debate among Democrats. We have to take it seriously. We have to act swiftly. As Attorney General of California, I was very proud to put in place a requirement that all my special agents would wear body cameras and keep those cameras on.
Senator Harris, thank you. Vice President Biden, you have been invoked. We are going to give you a chance to respond. Vice President Biden.
It's a mischaracterization of my position across the board. I did not praise racist. That is not true, number one. Number two, if we want to have this campaign litigated on who supports civil rights and whether I did or not, I'm happy to do that. I was a public defender. I didn't become a prosecutor. I came out and I left a good law firm to become a public defender when in fact my city was in flames because of the assassination of Dr. King. Number one. Number two, as the Vice President of the United States, I work with a man who, in fact, we worked very hard to see to it we dealt with these issues in a major, major way. The fact is that in terms of busing, the busing, you would have been able to go to school the same exact way because it was a local decision made by your city council. That's fine. That's one of the things I argued for, that we should be breaking down these lines. But so the bottom line here is, look, everything I've done in my career, I ran because of civil rights. I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
But Vice President Biden, do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No,
do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education.
So you opposed busing desegregation. That's what that means. I did not oppose busing. I opposed busing ordered by the Department of Education. Bro, that means... Let me break that down for everybody so they understand what that means, okay? One of the oldest arguments used by segregationists, they didn't rep the fact that they were just brazen racists. They didn't get out there and say, whites are superior, bro. They never did that. What they said is they tried to cloak it in us. No. We only care about the legal precedent being set here, and we believe in freedom, so we want big government in Washington, D.C. to stop trying to force their values on us. This is about states' rights, okay? So the state has the right to do whatever we want to do, so if we want to have white water fountains and black water fountains, they could shut the fuck up and not try to change that, because that's how we do it here. And if we want to have segregation in school busing, well, they could shut the fuck up because that's how we want to do it here. This is all about states' rights. It has nothing to do with race. So what Joe Biden is saying there, well, I opposed busing done by the Department of Education. That's when the Department of Education was saying, okay, we need to get involved here because there's still segregation in the schools and segregation in the busing to the schools. So we're going to get involved and say, you have to desegregate the school buses. So the Department of Education was on the right side saying, whoa, we can't have segregation. This is America. It's all about equality under the law. So no, we're going to not allow busing segregation. And Joe Biden worked with segregationists to say, I don't know, I think the federal government should stay out. So he was for busing segregation. He was against busing desegregation. And now he had the nerve to say at the end there, I'm not against busing. I'm just against the Department of Education busing. That means exactly what Kamala is saying it means. Oh my God. Bro. Campaign over, son. Campaign over, dog. Done. I'm telling you, done. Now, his response upon watching that a second and third time, his response was better than I remembered it originally. Because he was like still reeling from her hit on him that I was just like, whoa. But upon watching it a second and third time, he basically said, like, I was a public defender, not a prosecutor. In other words, I was defending the black community, not locking them up like your cop ass, bitch. So that response was better than I remember, but I still don't think he got the upper hand in this, and I still think she kind of KO'd him because it's true. He said, quote, I did not praise racists. Bro, he gave a eulogy at Strom Thurmond's funeral. Strom Thurmond is one of the most notorious segregationists and open racists, and he praised him repeatedly. So he did do that, and he does brag about working with segregationists. Listen, Joe Biden is from a previous era. His time is up. And boy, oh boy, was it perfect when Joe Biden said repeatedly throughout this debate, whenever his time was up in terms of like the 2 minutes he was allotted to speak or whatever the time frame was, at the end of it, he would say, my time's up. And he did that. You didn't see it at the end of this clip, but it goes on there. They talk for a little bit more, and then Biden says at the end, like, oh, my time's up. And that's just like a perfect metaphor for the end of his political career, which literally, quite literally, I think just happened. He performed very terrible in this debate, and in my opinion, he's done. I don't think he's going to come back from this. I think he's going to plummet in the polls. I'm telling you, he's not going to hang on because this was just a sad performance. That's the good news. The bad news is Kamala's a force to be reckoned with. She's good at this being a politician thing, and it shows. So look out. But yeah, like I said, the upside is game, set, match. Checkmate on Biden's campaign here. I think it's over.